Hello everyone, Ecotech here, and in this video I'll give you an update on my controller that enabled me to grow these beautiful microgreens. So here is the new controller, but we'll first start by discussing the functionalities of the old controller and what I've learned from it. Then we'll look at what this new controller is able to control, so all the accessories that enables you to automate the farm. Third, we'll look at how this automation can be controlled online from your Google Calendar and whatnot. And fourth, we'll look at the data that this controller is gathering and uploading. The old controller is currently being deployed in this small farm in my apartment, and what it does is it controls this 12-volt pump over there. It controls also the water solenoid here, so it can flood all these trays and basically take care of all the watering. It also controls the lights, so it turns on and off these LED lights, and it controls small 12-volt fans over there, as well as bigger fans that are connected to the sockets. So you might notice that the new controller does not have power sockets, and that is to help with wire management, because having all the sockets in the same spot was a bit of a mess, and sometimes the device you wanted to control wasn't close. Therefore, everything has been moved to these three connectors that control 12 volts, that are controlled by 12-volt channels. And on these connectors, you basically plug in your ribbon cable. And on the other end of the ribbon cable, you have your accessories. So an example of the 12-volt device that is controlled is this 12-volt solenoid, where I made a small hat to cover it. But here it's the board is on it, you set the channel you want it to be on, and then you plug it in, and just like on my old farm, it will run and you'll be able to control this device to turn the water on and off where you want it. Now, in terms of controlling these 8 channels, instead of manually writing turn on at 8 AM, turn off at 8 PM, or setting dials and things like that, it was a lot more convenient to set up a connection to your Google Calendar. So if we look at this computer, you will notice that this Google Calendar has a lot of meetings. Like, this guy never stops working. But if you actually look into these meetings, let's click on this one, for example, you'll notice it's a weird meeting where it says lights. What does that mean? Well, basically, on this calendar, you're able to control all your channels, and you can see that this meeting is lights, so it tells the controller, turn the lights on, and now you need to tell the controller which lights. And in the description, this is max zoom, but in the description you can see, trust me, there's a number 1. So it knows that turn the lights 1 on for, and it will turn them on for the entire duration of the meeting. And so if we look a bit more closely, you'll notice other meetings, and these meetings are other tasks. So the green ones are fans, the light green ones are the air filter, and the red ones is flooding. In other terms, it's basically watering the system. So by quickly updating your Google Calendar, the controller connects to it, fetches the data, and updates live. So this has been very convenient to use, and I can easily see that, this week the microgreens had too much light, so let me just reduce the number of hours these microgreens have light every day. And I was able to quickly change schedules and things like that, and do experiments and see how it affected the crops. So really happy with how the old system worked, and I just replicated it on the new controller. Now you'll notice on the screen, actually we haven't talked about the screen, but this is a touch screen, and you might have noticed that there are here 8 numbers, 1 through 8, and these are the 8 channels. And when the controller connects to the Google Calendar and sees, it's telling me turn channel 4 on or 5 on, it will turn the channel 5 on and change it as a blue dot, so you can quickly look at your controller and know he's trying to turn channel 5 on, and so afterwards you can see if your channel 5 is on or not. So if I press settings, now you have an easy way to enter your Wi-Fi, your password, although right now it's I connect to it with my phone, and on my phone I can set everything up. That's how the old controller works, but now we have both functionalities, And the new functionality is that here at the bottom, you'll notice select calendar, and by default it's on the default calendar, but if you click on it, right now I have 3 options: Ecotech, Chlorophylla, and default. So if you, oh, what happened? I don't know, I clicked, it's hard to see with this through this camera. But if I select Ecotech, now it will connect to my Ecotech Google Calendar. And what this allows you to do is to have multiple controllers running at the same time, yet not using the same Google Calendar. And by doing that, you are going from 8 channel control to now 16. And if you add a third controller, you have even more. Or you could add two controllers connected to the same Google Calendar. And so while you scale the farm and while you have more production, you can easily automate everything, and it's a very scalable and easy interface to use. And so far I'm really pleased with it. So this controller is running on the Ecotech calendar, and the one that's in the farm I moved into is running on the Chlorophylla calendar, and I can set different things for home and for the farm. So this is a temperature and humidity sensor. Now you can see that it seems very hot in this room. It's this is a flaw of this current design, where the sensor is inside, and so it's reading the values inside this enclosure. The next design will fix that, but yes, this device records and measures temperature and humidity. Now I'm using this sensor, which works, it worked well at the beginning, but I don't like how it only measures humidity by 5% increments. And in addition, I think the temperature is only plus or minus 1 degree. So I'd like to have more finer readings, and I looked into these other sensors. However, they're from the same family and you have similar issues. And in the end, I decided to opt for this Bosch sensor. Nope, the other side. So it's a small sensor on this PCB. I just ordered the development board, but this sensor will be a lot more reliable, a lot more accurate, and it'll be mounted in a way where I'll get better readings. These values are always being displayed here graphically. Now these dials were a simple example that I could run. I'll look into new like icons and things like that. So if you have suggestions on what you'd like it to look like or functionalities, please drop them in the comments. I'm looking for tips and what would you like to see. But going back to the temperature and humidity, it is not only displayed on the screen, but if we go back to your Google account, it also connects to your Google Sheets. So if we go on this computer, I have opened this Google Sheet here, and on this sheet you can see 3 dials that show the last measurement that it took. So on the left you have temperature, on the middle you have pH. I removed that functionality, so it's currently 0, and on the right you have humidity, and right now it's very low. It's reading another controller on my desk. And under it you have a graph. So the graph is very choppy because it's basically I plug it in, do some troubleshooting, it'd be on my desk, then I wouldn't work on it for a few days, plug it in, but you can see that it grabs the data, and this is over a few months. So if we go on this sheet, you can see that there's a graph of the last few days, and the red line is the humidity and the orange one is the temperature, and you can see that it's gathering data fairly well. So I think this wraps it up for the update on this controller, this current prototype. Please let me know what setting you'd like to see on it, or what you'd like to be displayed or controlled on it. And since it's still in development, I will most likely have time to implement it, and it's already been the case. I've received comments about how I should focus on the software, which is what I'm pivoting to, and things like that. So thank you for all the positive feedback. Thanks for watching, and take care.